Izzy.
And we are here to answer your Phoenix real estate frequently asked questions. And we're going to start off with, I have an antique stove in my kitchen. Can I take it with me when I sell my house? All right, here's the rule. When you sell your house, it really needs to come with a stove. So if there's a stove in there that you want to keep, you need to take that out and replace it. If you don't do that, then the buyers are going to assume that that stove is coming with the property because it's considered a fixture. It's not the same as a refrigerator that's considered personal property. You're going to take that with you. The stove is considered a fixture. So if you want to keep the stove, I would suggest immediately replacing it with something cheap off Craigslist. Putting the antique stove in the garage.
Good rule of thumb, your washer and dryer and your fridge are yours. Your personal property, you can take them with you. Everything else is pretty much going to be staying with the property. So if you have a dishwasher or a stove or anything like that that you want to keep, I advise my sellers to get it out of the house before they even list the house. Now, if for some reason you can't, you can put it in the notes that certain property does not convey, but realize there may be a fight over that. Just the easiest way is if you want to keep it, get it out of the house. All right, second question. What is a final walkthrough inspection? When you're purchasing a house, you're buying that house as it sits the day you get it. And it may not look like what you saw when you went and put an offer in on that house. So you need to go through the day before the closing. Either you, your agent, or both of you need to go through the house and look at it, make sure everything's okay, make sure that the fans aren't missing, the stove isn't missing, or anything like that. Because once you purchase it, it's yours. So you need to make sure that everything is okay before you close.
Yeah, and I think the walkthrough inspection is more important than people realize. For that reason, if something's changed. But a recent walkthrough kind of highlighted another side of things. My buyers were going through the walkthrough and noticed that a window had been broken, and they were thinking that the window hadn't been broken before. They had opted not to get a home inspection. They didn't have any documentation, and unfortunately, there was nothing they could do about getting that broken window replaced. But that's the purpose of the walkthrough inspection, is just to make sure that everything is the same as it was when you signed the contract. That's it. That's my answer.
That's your answer?
That's my answer. I'm sticking to it. All right, next question. Why didn't I get the mortgage rate advertised online? I'm sure that a lot of people are asking themselves this question, because when you look in those ads and they give these great rates and you think, wow, that's awesome, I can afford this much more expensive house, and then they go work with a lender and end up getting an interest rate that's maybe 1% higher, they're really, really confused. Well, the reason is because the rate that you get depends on what you qualify for. And the only way you're going to get the answer to that question is by going through the whole underwriting process. They can't tell you in the newspaper what you qualify for. That's based on perfect credit and everything dialed in, and the phases of the moon and a lot of other stuff. So you're not going to know your interest rate until you're actually working with the lender and they give you a good faith estimate.
If Kristin walked in for a loan and I walked in for a loan at the same time, and we talked to the same lender, most likely we're going to have two separate rates. And it's not because one of us is getting ripped off. There are other qualifications to a rate besides what the current market rate is. It comes down to your credit score. It comes down to a lot of other factors. Another thing is, if you call about a rate in the morning and you go back in the afternoon, it may be two completely different rates. And the reason is rate sheets come out during the day. And there can be as many as 3 rate sheets that change the rate during the day. If I am negotiating a short sale with, and this is a good one.
It is a good one.
If I'm negotiating a short sale with my lender, can they still foreclose? Absolutely they can. Are they going to? Most likely not, but it's really going to depend on the agent negotiating the short sale, and it always seems to come back to that agent negotiating the short sale. If they're staying on top of things, the bank does not want to foreclose on your house. If you have an offer in there being negotiated, the bank does not want to foreclose. But you have to remember, the short sale department and the loss mitigation department that's going to foreclose on you are two completely different departments. So if your agent is not telling them to make sure that they delay the foreclosure date, it could end up being sold.
Yeah, this just actually came up with some friends of mine that were involved in a short sale. Everything was in escrow, it was ready to close, and the bank went ahead and foreclosed on the deal. And it defies logic that why they would do that. They were maybe a week away from having a closed short sale and they went ahead and foreclosed. But it just highlights the fact that we're in a really dysfunctional industry right now, and you got to keep on top of these guys or this kind of stuff's going to happen.
Come on, we've heard about banks foreclosing on houses they don't even own.
Exactly. It's a crazy, crazy time. So yeah, it happens. Sorry to say.
So thanks for joining us. Thanks for your questions. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel. You know, we're getting a lot of people viewing. Subscribe, make it easy to yourself.
And send us some questions. We'd love to hear your questions.
See you next week.
For the first time.
Is it
It's
in the-
good
is
on the
it
first
centered
one.
enough?
Centered, so
Yes.
there's no wood.
There's no wood.
That's
There's no border.
Depends on when you get up there. So close!
So close and yet so far. So that's the end, yeah?
No, you
No,
have one more
there's
question.
one more? Oh, sorry.
I'll get that for a second question.
No,
No,
please,
he's done.
please go. All right. So why didn't I get the mortgage rate? Did you want to give you a question?
I'm gonna do my laptop.
That was the spirit ends.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to get to your YouTube channel.
Are you kidding me?
She's already seen one of the videos. Our director has never seen a
Oh
video.
my gosh.